think we've reached the point where we know that a low salary team can make it to the playoffs. I think
Yes, but can they win it is a much, much different
exactly.
exercise.
It's a whole different thing.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till now, they've gone to the playoffs. There's still baseball going, so it gives you an excuse to grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on the X machine and Instagram machine at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah! The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today.
All right, Ulises, on yesterday's show, we didn't have time to get to some listener comments on who they're rooting for in the postseason sans Rays. So let's go ahead and knock those out.
Yeah,
if we shall. And I believe you're able to pull them up on the YouTubes. And here we go. Brett says Mets. Dustin, our buddy, says Mets. Coach SA says, got to go with the Brewers. Some former Rays players helps Adames being a huge reason. Laura Jenkins says, has to be Cleveland. Go Guardians. D-Mac says, whoever plays the Yankees. Yes, we can circle, bold, underline, highlight that comment right there. Chris Snyder says Tigers and anyone playing the Yankees. Jake Stokes says rooting might be a strong word, but I'd like to see the Braves win it again. And again, a lot of these comments predated some of the action that happened with the playoffs, as some of these teams are eliminated now. The Sports Burst says Tigers and Royals. Anthony Lopez says the Seattle Pilots. I don't know if it's a joke or what I don't know what or who the Seattle Pilots are.
There's a cheekiness in there. I get the tone, but maybe not the root of the joke.
Okay, maybe he's trying to follow Randy Rosarena or something like that. Which, by the way, side note here, does Randy return to the Mariners in 2025?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, you think he could get traded again?
I don't know.
That's a good one. By the way, the Seattle Pilots were an American professional baseball team based in Seattle, Washington during the 1969 Major League Baseball season. During their single-season existence, the Pilots played their home games at Six Stadium and were a member of the West Division of Major League Baseball's American League.
All right, there we go. Yeah. Charles Meyer says rooting for Kansas City and the New York Mets. Interesting combination. Tone says Mets. Danny Perez says Padres or Brewers. Shell says hashtag Red October, so rooting for the Phillies there. And then Daryl Brooks says Baltimore or Cleveland, two teams with less payroll than the Rays, prove that you can build a team and win without paying huge contracts. Detroit, Milwaukee, Kansas City also have lower team salaries.
To that last point, by the way, thank you all for always participating in those Twitter prompts. It's awesome. For the salary in the playoffs, I think we've reached the point where we know that a low salary team can make it to the playoffs. I think
yes, but can they win it is a much, much different exercise.
It's a whole different thing. Like usually it doesn't. I think you brought up a couple times now the fact that out of the last 20 something odd winners, maybe in the 21st century,
right,
there hasn't been a winner of the World Series that hasn't had a payroll of above $100 million, something like that.
Correct. So in other words, you almost have to, based on previous record, have to have a payroll of at least 9 figures to win the World Series. And I think a lot of that is based on you at least have a couple of star veteran types who shine when the lights are brightest and who won't shy away from the enhanced competition and environment. Whereas the Rays, and also you might have some continuity factor working in your favor with some of those star players, but the Rays, since 2019 and before that as well, always very good teams, well-structured teams, but more built for the regular season in the long stretch versus a quick best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, and a lot of young players, guys that are pre-ARB or just in their first or second year of ARB versus these guys who have been there and done that, which to Evan Klosky's point that he made on the show earlier this week, it seems to lend itself to a team like the Phillies or, go back prior years, the Rangers. What do? They sign Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, and look what happened.
$500 million.
Invest, $500, $600 million combined in a couple players to get you over the hump and get you that crown.
Yeah, and when you talk about the regular season versus the playoffs, I think we understand that the way that the Rays have attacked the game of baseball, strategized about the game of baseball, they've attacked it the right way for a 162 regular season games. Look, this season was rough to watch. Definitely not the type of product that makes you want to keep tuning in. And it could have been worse. The expected win-loss record could have been worse. But if you try to get a silver lining here, is how bad they were, they still won 80 games. That's crazy because they should not have won 80 games. So I know there's a lot to fix, but when you look back at their playoff history, that the reason why they haven't been, I think, as successful as we think that they should have is the how you manage a baseball game during the regular season can't be the same way that you manage a playoff game. It's different because it's over, and sometimes the probabilities and the odds are going to be played out during 162 games, and you can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to substitute this guy for this guy. I'm going to platoon this position. I'm going to platoon all these guys, and it'll work out in the end. Yeah, and that usually does in a large sample size. But in one game, in 2 games, that's it. You have to go with your horses. So I think that's one of the things that has kind of been a wrinkle with how the Rays approach the regular season and the postseason is that they think it's the same, and it's most certainly not.
Speaking of that, and this will be more of an off-season topic for sure, but scale of 1 to 10 confidence level that the Rays can at least reach the playoffs in 2025. 10 being, oh yeah, they're going to do it, or 1 being they're going to be just in the same situation they were this year with a record of 500 or under 500 and not really sniffing the postseason.
I think it's a toss up. I'm going to go 5, and it's it's
we got to wait till after the offseason to see what moves they make or don't make to determine that. And
because the positive, I'm going 5 because of the pitching. I'm like, but I have no hope in no hope. No, let me not be so Stephen A. Smithy. I have some hope, but not a lot of hope on the offensive side. So if you're able to fix that offensive issue that you have presently, then that 5 can be moved up to a 6 or 7.
Yeah, and again, this will probably have to be a topic for next week, but throwing another wrinkle into that is the fact that there is some uncertainty with the Bally Sports contract, which could adjust or make the payroll. Yeah, there may not be the funds available to make that big addition or two like we want them to. Like, find that whoever that Marcell Ozuna on the market is for 4 years, $60-75 million. I think that and another mid-tier piece, that should just about do it, assuming that Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, some other guys get healthy, and there's a lot of ifs and buts part of that equation. But I think, like you said and suggested, there's no question, or there shouldn't be questions about the pitching staff, but 100% something has to be done about the offense, because you can't just run it back with this existing group and expect to, we'll win 88 games.
Yeah. They'll all revert to their career normals. It's like, nah, you can't say that about a lot of these guys.
Now, if I mean, this is shot in the dark, seriously, but, and this is not happening. He is not playing for the Rays ever again. I have that on record from some quality sources or source. If Wander Franco is found, is cleared of all charges, and the Rays were opt to bringing him back, then maybe you don't have to make a move. Maybe you just insert him into the lineup and see your win total
and take the
6-7-fold.
And you take the publicity hit from your fandom and from MLB, but you're like, look, we have to pay this guy already. Like, we might as well. I don't know. That's a very interesting thing, but I think you have something very interesting to tell me right now.
Yes, I do have something interesting to tell you, and that is Tonal. Tonal is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. Powered by AI, Tonal teams with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Tonal learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move, with detailed progress reports as well. They even create personalized program and workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's just like having a personal trainer at home with you, as Tonal will optimize every workout just for you. Unlike some of that traditional gym equipment and gear, Tonal uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. From professional athletes to that mom of three, Tonal is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. And we have a pretty cool deal right now for you. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Tonal.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. So good, I'll repeat it one more time, so listen closely. That's Tonal, TONAL.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off.
You mentioned Marcell Ozuna, and you were like, oh man, it'd be nice if the Rays were able to get a Marcell Ozuna type guy, 4 years, 65 mil. So
not coming second in the race like they've done with so many other free agents.
Oh, you don't like to collect silver medals for free agents?
Not when it comes to free agents. I mean,
so I did a little very difficult math, which was dividing 65 by 4, and that's a 16.25 mil salary per year. Is Anthony Santander worth $16.25 million per year for 4 years?
I think so. I think he would command that in free agency. And like I've said, he has a good year, good 2 years, or if some of the proprietary data that the Rays have suggests that he might be losing a step or two, then you trade him. Just because you have him to a 4-year deal does not mean you have to keep him for that 4-year deal. I.e. Zach Eflin. I know he wasn't on a 4-year deal, but you have a guy to a shorter term contract, you can always dump the salary, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. I know that'll be an off-season huge topic with Santander, because I think we both are on the same page with that. Let's move on to some ALDS, NLDS talk, man. How about Tampa's Pete White Polar Bear Alonso?
Future Ray, Pete Alonso.
Dude, that's why this game, the game of baseball, is just the best. It's you have a fandom in the Brewers. You win the first game, you're feeling good. You lost the second one, you're like, okay, but we're still at home. We can still do something.
Mm-hmm.
And you are outs away. Outs. You've been dominant 2-0 the whole time. And then in a blink of an eye, your, I mean, maybe not storied closer because Josh Hader was there. But Devin Williams, who's been incredible, boom, gives up a 3-run bomb to Pete Alonso. And then for Pete, like a guy that has had it rough the year before his free agency comes up, this type of moment, that's why you get
Yeah,
paid the big bucks. I mean, like Lindor did the other day too. Like,
yes.
Yeah, who? It's kind of like the opposite Brendan Lau effect. Like, yeah, even if you have a bad regular season, but if you're going to come through for me in the playoffs, that's what matters.
That's what matters. Yeah. And I think, he didn't have a season that he totally expected. I mean, he hit a lot of home runs by league standards, but he definitely has more in the tank than that. But you can certainly elevate your profile with a strong postseason picture and take that into free agency. And that's the last thing that people remember, the recency bias of, he's been good for this long during the regular season, and then he turns it up in the playoffs. Maybe that cashes you an extra couple $1 million. So, we'll see what he eventually gets in free agency. I do want to touch on this. So, we have 4 series. We have Tigers, Guardians,
Okay.
Royals, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, Padres, Dodgers. Out of those 4 series, which are you most interested in tuning into for the course of this? Like, if there's one series you had to bookmark and say, yeah, I'll watch more of these games versus these others, what would it be? Knowing that, of course, the Rays are not in the dance.
I think my hatred towards the Yankees
Okay.
is too powerful. It's like the Force. I'm being wooed by the bad side of the Force here instead of like focusing on the good side. I'm focusing on, no, I hate the Yankees and I want to see them lose, and so I need to see that series. That's number one. But I mean, I've never seen Ohtani in the playoffs.
That's true.
Would be pretty cool to see that series in San Diego. There's the rivalry already within the division. I think it's between those two. But again, those are more like emotional wants.
Right.
For baseball, like the type of baseball that I'm going to be seeing, that I think exciting baseball is going to be seeing in the Guardians Tigers. And hear me out. I know it's not
the old AL Central rivalry.
Yeah, but I know it's not like 2 powerhouses with the lineups. I understand that, but I think that's why it's going to be good baseball, because it's not going to be a mammoth of 10-8, 8-5. Like, I think these are going to be 1-0 games, 3-1 games, 2-1 games. How the clutch hitting is going to be there, like the energy of the young guys in Detroit and the guys that weren't even thought to be in the playoff picture at the beginning of the year with the Guardians. Like, everybody saw it. Oh, the Twins are going to win that division.
Right.
And here are the Guardians, one of the best teams throughout the whole year. So I think the best baseball, like if you want to see close games, I think that's the series to tag.
No, I think you covered it well. Definitely Royals, Yankees. That is the big, that is the greatest David versus Goliath underdog bully story of the remaining postseason. But I'm with you on Tigers and Guardians because the Tigers, what I'm curious in watching is how they maneuver their pitching staff, because they really only have that one true starter, very good starter, Cy Young candidate starter in Tarek Skubal, who might get a couple starts in this series, but it's how AJ Hinch is going to work his magic with a bunch of openers and bulk relievers. And then tied in with that on the Guardians scene, look, we know how good this guy is, but I don't know if the nation still realizes how good Jose Ramirez is. He was a homer away, a homer shy of the 40-40 club.
The quietest 40-40 season ever. Nobody it's a small market. Yeah, there's like I know that they've beat us in the playoffs, and so there's like a little bit of rawness to it, but they get the kind of the same treatment than the Tampa Bay market does.
Yeah. No, that's fair. By the way, quick trivia. This isn't we still have baseball trivia. Name that war. Can you name the members of the 40-40 club? There are 7.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Jose Canseco.
Correct. Asterix.
Barry Bonds.
Correct. Asterix.
A-Rod.
Correct. Asterix.
Alfonso Soriano.
Correct. I don't know if there's an asterisk, but
I don't know. That would be Ronald Acuna Jr.
Correct. He had the old 40-70.
Yep. Shohei Ohtani.
That's all of them. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani may have had the most loud 40-40 season, 50-50 season. And then Ramirez, well, he didn't get to it, but if he did get to it, it'd be like the quietest 40-40 season. So there we go. Well, there'll be a lot of baseball to watch and tune into in between all the football that is going on. So there we go. My guess, I mean, I don't know. I could see, I won't even go there.
Yeah, hold it.
Yeah, we'll have to hold it. All right. We do have baseball trivia, Name That War, coming up. But first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience something important.
A lot of good series, a lot of good cities here. All right. You can go to Kansas City. You can go to Cleveland. You can go to Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, San Diego, LA. Are there any cities there that you haven't gone to, Kevin, that you would like to see?
I've not gone to Cleveland. I have not gone to Detroit. I have not gone to New York. I have not gone to California. So I would like to see San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, they tell me that it's like so clean over there.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Well, they have a military base and they got to protect that and ensure that.
Oh, well, look at that. You learned something at Locked On Rays if you stick to the ads. So, you know what? Explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about with hotels, bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. Booking.com delivers exactly the right U.S. stay for you, and it can help you book a stay that's close to your home or very, very far away from it. So no matter what team you're rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. By the way, you can go, I know it's not the year, but in Toronto, you can go to Rogers Center and then just like have a room facing the baseball stadium. Like that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. So maybe next year you guys can do that. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Go to Booking.com today. Download the app. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
All right, Ulises, we first want to tell the audience to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on the YouTubes or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, baseball trivia, Name That War. Ulises, you have baseball trivia for me, if I'm correct.
Yes, I do. And ALDS, NLDS, it's here, people. And it's been here since 1995. That's when the divisional series round started, 1995. Some of you were already paying taxes. Some of you were not even born. Some of you, like me and Kevin, were probably in pre-K. Yeah. So wherever you were, doesn't matter, 1995. In front of me, I have the career leaders in hits of the divisional series. I already told you what year it started. Kevin, can you name 6 of the top 10 DS hits leaders?
And this is since 95?
Yep.
6 of the top 10. Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter is the clubhouse leader by a long shot with 92 hits and 300 plate appearances.
Okay. I will go with... I almost need to go with another Yankee, but I'll hold on that. Dustin Pedroia.
Strike one.
Leader since 1995. Oh boy, this is tough.
Don't overthink it.
Big names.
Big names, and again, you said something.
Yankees. Okay. Alex Rodriguez.
Strike two.
This is not going to be right, but what the heck? Bernie Williams.
Number 2 on this list. Very, very good. Very good, Kevin. 51 hits in 215 plate appearances.
All right, I'll go one more Yankee, I guess.
I know that you're not like. I don't want to. I'm going to
Okay,
give you a
go
hint with this Yankee here. Might not be the first Yankee you think of, but it makes sense because you're like, oh yeah, well he was a really good guy and he lasted for a long time.
Jorge Posada.
Very good. Number 3 on this list, 49 hits in 196 plate appearances.
Is this all Yankees? I mean,
The first 3 are definitely Yankees, and there's one more guy who played for the Yankees for half of his career, and maybe a Ray too.
Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon tied for number 5 with 39 hits.
All right, David Ortiz.
Foul tip.
Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez, number 5 on this list with Johnny Damon at 39 in 184 plate appearances.
Okay. I mean, this isn't going to be it, but what the heck? Kevin Youkilis.
Strike 3. So we got top 10. Jeter, Bernie Williams, Posada, Chipper Jones.
Ooh, okay.
Manny Ramirez, Rafael Furcal. Man,
Wow,
what a
that's
name.
surprising. Yeah.
What a name. Johnny Damon, Kenny Lofton, Kevin's favorite.
Yeah.
Justin Turner. Wow, look at him squeaking in there. And, of course, Jose Altuve with 37.
Oh, I should have. Yeah. My bad. Good question, though.
Good question.
All right. My name that war. I don't think this guy had a lot of postseason hits, but he had a lot of hits and homers in his career, and he's on the 40-40 list. Jose Canseco. What is his career baseball reference WAR?
Oh, damn, that's a good one. I mean, this guy was sick. And WAR does not discriminate if you inject yourself in the butt.
His nickname was the Chemist. That's what it says here. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's really good. That's really good color. Jose Canseco. Okay, so he played, let's say, from like 85, maybe even earlier than that, actually. Because he was with McGuire with the A's in that 1988 season. And he was already a name, I think. And he played for in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. So we're thinking 20 years. And
Was a
like
Devil Ray.
Yeah, so like 15 or so years, he was being a 3-WAR player at least. So that's 45 right off the bat. But he was very bad defensively too. So that takes a knock off. I mean, when you get a fly ball hit in your head, maybe not the best outfielder. Two. I know it didn't happen with the Devil Rays, but 2 Rays players had gotten hit in the face as a right fielder.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. I'm gonna go with 38.
Okay, that is your guess, 38. Jose Canseco, outfielder designated hitter, native, born in Cuba, raised in Miami, like many people. He played from 1985 to 2001, played for 7 teams: Oakland, Texas, Tampa Bay, Boston, New York, Chicago White Sox, and Toronto. 1,877 hits, 462 homers, 266 batting average. In addition to being an MVP, he was also the Rookie of the Year, a 6-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and a 4-time Silver Slugger. In addition to the homers, he had 340 doubles, 200 stolen bases, career OPS plus of 132. You mentioned the defense. No Gold Gloves to his name, not surprisingly. Notably, never hit 50 or more homers in a season. Had a lot of 42, 44, 46s to his name. Bottle all that up. What do you get according to Baseball Reference? Not too bad of a guess there. 42.4.
Let's go, baby. That's how I need to start my Friday.
There we go. Started on a high note, and now you remember his nickname is the Chemist.
The Chemist. That's such a good bleeping nickname, man.
Yes, and he's still very active on X as well.
Yes, he is, and usually they're bangers.
Yes, they are. All right. In the meantime, we appreciate you listening this week. We've got some fun shows hopefully scheduled for you all next week as well.
We should say maybe next week. Timing of the publishing of these episodes is going to be a little bit off kilter because we're going to be working with managing, travel.
Somebody
abroad.
is flying international to look for some bats.
Yes,
in Latin America.
I want to get the next Edgar Renteria for the race. So I'm doing this for free, Eric Neander. Okay?
Yeah.
Come on, son. Let's
start
hit me up, Eric. What's going on?
And prepare some scouting reports pro bono for the race.
I got to do it. No one's going to do it. I got to do it. Come on.
Yep, that's true. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen. For your second listen, make it Locked On MLB. Prepare for the Fall Classic with our buddy Sully, who has it all covered every single day. Find Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to podcasts.